Okay, so there's this story that I've been wanting to share, and I didn't really feel like if I wrote it out, it would accurately capture how I felt during the whole process of it. But basically, I had one of the most mortifying things happen to me, like right before I got diagnosed with cancer. I've been wanting to share it, so I'm really happy that I got into the video blogging because now you can hear it directly from me and how it actually happened. So hopefully a little perspective has made it a little bit more amusing, but I still found it like completely hilarious after it happened, even though I was a little pissed. So in the weeks leading up to my diagnosis of acute myeloid leukemia, I had been going to a chiropractor because I had an old spinal injury and it was giving me a lot of problems. So the night before I had a regular doctor's appointment, which took the blood sample, which sent to a hematologist, which ended up in a diagnosis. I had a chiropractor appointment the night before. So I'm there, and the chiropractic assistant or whatever she is, she's like, "Man, you like really got nailed. Like, what's going on? You have bruises like all over your arms." I'm like, "Yeah, I know," and like I showed her some other ones all over my body. And of course, like, now the perspective is there that like the bruising was from low platelets from the leukemia. But anyway, so back to the story, she's just like, "Wow, like, that's a lot." Like, and I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I don't really know. I've like stopped working out. Like, I don't think I'm running into things, I'm just like I'm tired. I don't know what's going on." So she's like, she kind of like leans in really closely to me and she says, she's like, "So this is just coming from a very non-judgmental point of view." She puts her hand on my shoulder, like that's gonna make the news any better. And she's like, people, I used to be a bartender for like 12 years, and people who drink really heavily or sometimes drink dark liquors tend to bruise a lot. And I'm not accusing you, of being, whatever. I'm just saying, that this can happen. And I'm like, what? Like, what? And I'm trying to act so normal. So I leave the chiropractor appointment. I get home and I'm like super pissed off. Mike, like my chiropractor, like pretty much accused me of being an alcoholic today. And I tell him the story and he's just like, "What? Like, why did she say that?" And I'm like, "I have no idea. Like, I don't know if I like checked drinks heavily instead of moderately when I filled out a survey when I first got there, or like I give off this vibe that I'm some party girl, like girls gone wild, like life of the party, because that's definitely not me." So, and I had really like toned it down leading up to all of this too. So whatever I was doing was not a lot. So, so I'm like really aggravated and I'm so pissed. So I don't go back there obviously because within the next week I have all these doctor's appointments and I found out that I have leukemia. So during that time, like it's a couple of days after I've gotten diagnosed, and like I don't know what the deal was. I just kept being like really blunt about the fact that I had leukemia. I wasn't talking to a lot of people because I was still like in shock kind of. But when I would talk about it, I would just be like, "Yeah, I have leukemia. Fuck it. I'm going to be fine. It's like no big deal." And I'm not really like processing how that must sound from someone else hearing that, like maybe for the first time or like, trying to deal with it like their friend or their family member has cancer. I'm just like, whatever, being so weird. So I get this call from the chiropractic office and it's this really sweet receptionist. And she's like, "Hey, you missed an appointment today. Like, can we reschedule and get you back in?" And I'm like, "No, I really don't think so. Like, I've had some things come up." She's like, "Oh, like, is there anything we can do?" And I'm like, "No, actually, I got diagnosed with cancer." Like, totally blunt. And she's, of course, like, at a loss for words, just like, "Oh my God," like just, she can only say like, "I'm sorry." And I'm like, "No, no, 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 it's fine. It's fine. Can you just tell the doctor though that I got that the bruises that we were talking about at the last appointment, they're from the leukemia and not from the other thing that we talked about?" And of course, like, she's so confused probably. She's like, "What are you talking about?" So I'm just like, "Can you just tell her that? Can you make sure that she knows? She'll know what I'm talking about." And so she's kind of like, "Yeah, okay." So I hang up the phone and I'm like, yes, like secret victory inside. Like, she's gonna know that like I'm not a drinker and an alcoholic, like crazy or whatever she was accusing me of. Like I had cancer. And like I'm pretty sure either option is not good, but I seem to like have this little victory in my head that cancer like was better. I don't know. So that's the story that I've been wanting to share. I hope you enjoyed it. And that my embarrassing experience is somehow entertaining to somebody besides me and my family. And I hope that word got back to her because that would be a real kick in the ass for her. So take that.